Look, girl, you looking like the 90s Nia Long. Your mom, the girl in high school that every guy was sleeping on. You design almond-shaped eyes, all Aaliyah in the but you shot it with the vibe. Girl, you look how Lamborghinis drive. If a woman tried to get with you, I wouldn't be surprised. Not even a little.
So as you can tell by the title of this video, this is gonna be how I do my eyebrows. See, my eyebrows are not done.
What was that?
So I'm gonna just like clean them up basically. So first things first, you're gonna take some type of spoolie. A spoolie is this type of brush right here, and you're gonna brush your eyebrows upwards. Okay, if your eyebrows are thick and you don't want them to be thick, the next thing you would do is you would take an eyebrow scissor like this one. So eyebrow scissors usually have like a tinier blade and it's curved, like this one is curved. The reason it's like that is so that you can lay it flat and still cut. So what I do usually is I just take my fingers and I just like brush my eyebrows up if I don't have a spoolie, and I just brush them up, and then I would just cut the hairs that are falling out of the outline of my brows. There's hairs that are poking past that, I would cut that. One way that I clean them up, and you just cut them. Just cut the ones that are out of line. If you hear that noise, it's actually like super windy in New York. Some people might, you know, pluck down here if they wanted their eyebrows to stay this shape, but I actually don't want mine to stay this shape. I want them to be even thicker than they are. So I'm not gonna pluck them. I feel like all eyebrow pencils do the same thing. You don't need to spend $20-$30 on an eyebrow pencil. That's really unnecessary. It's just a colored pencil that is safe for your face. It's really not serious, especially if you're a beginner.
I'm gonna do that anyway. Because that's how I am.
This was like $5, I think, for ColourPop, and this is probably their old formula because I've had this for a long time. It's called the ColourPop brow pencil, and I have it in the color black brown. Like, it's so old that you can barely see the words anymore. Just brush my hairs up again. Then you take the pencil part. It doesn't need to be all the way like screwed all the way up. So you see how mine is like just poking like that? That's perfect. As I start from the bottom, then from that line I'm gonna go downwards. I'm just basically tracing the outline of my brow. You're not gonna put a lot of force into the pencil. You want it to look as natural and hair-like as possible, so I'm not putting a lot of force. This is a very light stroking motions like that. Okay, and you see how it's my pencil's angled. If you don't have a lot of control when it comes to drawing lines on your face, like eyeliner or brows, I would rest the hand on the face. So anyway, from that line, I'm really just outlining the brows and then just drawing the strokes. Now we're gonna go back to our spoolie brush and we're gonna brush up again just to blend in the product that we just laid down. Okay. And for me personally, I like my brows to look longer at the front, so I like to extend this line again very lightly. So since I've been blessed to have a lot of brow hairs already, I don't do too much, because if I do too much, it'll start to look really, really harsh and it'll look like Sharpie brows. Okay, moving on to this brow. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna line the bottom really lightly. Because your brows are supposed to start towards the side of your nose, you do here, your arch here, and the end here. That's how it's supposed to be. I don't know who made that. A little bit thicker. So again, we're gonna do hair-like strokes. I'm going to be using this brush. If you have a brush that's smaller and you're a beginner, I definitely suggest to use a smaller brush that's also flat like this. Depending on how you like your brows to look, you can get a concealer that is really close to your foundation shade, or you can get a concealer that's 2 to 3 shades lighter than your foundation shade. When you do get the concealer that is lighter than your foundation shade, that is if you want your brows to look really like clean, as if you just got them done and you want them to be highlighted. So I want this part to be concealed. If you don't have concealer and you do want it to look like you just woke up with these brows, you can use your actual foundation itself. So I'm using Fawn by LA Girl Pro Conceal. Okay, so I'm putting a little bit on my hand. So I'm just gonna dip into it with my brush. Start at the beginning of my brows, the front. That's the word, the front. And then I just create that line again. You guys can kind of see I'm like pushing the product in a little bit right here because that's where a lot of my sparse hairs are. And I want them to be covered. It doesn't, I don't know. I just don't feel like it takes a lot of concealer to do this. I feel like that's just gonna take time to blend out. Like, who wants to spend 5 minutes blending out so much concealer when you can really spend like 1 minute blending out that much concealer? I don't know why I did that. So if you're using like a super light concealer, I don't recommend to do this unless you're wearing full face of makeup for the day. But if you're not, if you're just doing your brows for the day and you're using a shade that's 3 times lighter, don't put it on top, please. You have to be like really good at blending to blend a 3 shades lighter concealer that's on top of your brows and you're not wearing foundation or going outside with foundation on too. You have to be like more than a beginner. Again, you see how I'm holding this brush and I'm tilting my head a little. We don't want it to be like this dangerous. You can easily slip into your eye and poke yourself. You want this to be at an angle. And the way you blend your concealer is how your brows are going to end up. So if you want a sharp brow, like how right here, it's pretty sharp, and right here it's pretty sharp, you have to blend it sharply. Okay, and that's how I do my brows.